Good morning, world.
Good morning. Well, we have two stories for you today. The first one is about Real Housewives of Salt Lake City star Jenny Nguyen, who is...
Nguyen.
Nguyen what?
Jenny Nguyen. Don't be racist, man.
You forget. I can't be racist. Jenny Nguyen, Jenny Nguyen. We're going to talk about her dismissal from the show. And the second story is...
We're going to do a thing on... It's about... Well, you know the thing.
Stay tuned for both of those. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to talk about those two stories, but...
You didn't mention my hat's on backwards.
No, I'm not going to mention it. We're going to leave that alone for a while. Whether you're like Gina Carano, who was released from Lucas and Disney, or you're like Jenny Nguyen, who was recently released from Bravo, no matter what happens in life, there's so much uncertainty, you have to be prepared. Do you have enough food, water, and other essentials to get you through tough times? If not, check out My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's #1 preparedness company, and they've served millions of American families just like yours. Right now, you can save 25% off their popular 4-week emergency food kit, which will keep you well fed for 4 weeks worth of breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, and snacks, totaling over 2,000 calories a day. This food stays fresh for up to 25 years in proper storage, so it will be there when you need it. In fact, you may need it a lot sooner than that.
So don't wait. Go to www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com. That's www.preparewithcedricandbrian.com. Cancel culture cancels again.
We just saw this story a couple months ago, didn't we, with Gina Carano? Was that last year?
That was last year. It was a while ago because she's already making a movie with the Daily Wire.
Yes.
But it just goes to show you that nobody's safe because I think these things that she posted in social media were back in 2020.
Back in 2020, and I can say this as the resident black man on the Cedric and Brian show, I saw nothing wrong with what she said.
For those of you who watch the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City...
Which I don't know anyone who does.
Did anybody watch any of the Real Housewives? Obviously they do because they keep coming... They're still on the air. But as they stated, if you read along here, a slew of controversial social media posts. So you let us know if you think they're controversial. I had to go to the expert here to see if he thought they were controversial because... Being a white guy, I can't see any of that.
Right.
Bravo ceased filming with Jenny Nguyen because of these controversial posts. So let's go over a couple of them with you.
Basically, she was talking about what was going on in 2020 with the riots. And two of the terms that she used, which I completely agree with, she said they were BLM thugs. Now, there's assumptive language in that she said, well, because they were part of BLM, that they were all black. You and I both know that a lot of the white liberals were involved in the rioting and the looting and stuff like that.
Well, and Antifa.
And Antifa. But the mere mention of BLM thugs led everybody to believe that she was talking about blacks specifically, and she also called them violent gangs.
Well, the other thing, too, that came up even earlier, if we go back here, page 6 reports that Nguyen, who is a Vietnamese American, I'm sure she just calls herself an American, but I digress, reports that she posted a few pro-police rants. Pro-police, God forbid you have a pro-police rant.
Back the blue.
Rant. And it says, all she said is, I'm sick of people saying cops need more training. You had 18 years to teach your kids it's wrong to loot, steal, set buildings ablaze, block traffic, laser people's eyes, overturn cars, destroy buildings, and attack citizens. Who failed who? Now, do you see anything wrong with that?
I see nothing wrong with that at all. As a matter of fact, I was having a conversation with a friend via text the other day, and we were talking about hate speech. And I was using the term that we use a lot. Is it hate speech, or is it speech you just love to hate? And she asked me, well, what's the difference? I said, there's a huge difference. I mean, just because you don't want to hear something doesn't mean it's not true.
Right.
And she said,
and it doesn't mean it's hateful.
Doesn't mean it's hateful. Sometimes it's just truthful.
Yeah, because all she said there is, she was just pointing out that it wasn't the police that were doing all these bad things.
Yeah.
So one of the other comments she said, if you read this, hundreds of blacks shot and many killed, including children, by other blacks every week. or 1,000 officers violently injured, some permanently, by rioters. Anarchists rioting in major cities every night, which has caused billions of dollars of destruction to private and public property. And you still think police officers are the problem. You are an idiot.
And that's true. And people don't like to talk about this concept a lot, but black on black crime is huge, especially in cities like Detroit and Chicago. And I don't know if it was 2019 or I think it was 2020. If you ask most liberals how many blacks were killed by police officers, they'll tell you it was in the thousands. I think it was around 11. In 2020, it was 11 black men killed by cops. And they were usually resisting arrest or not complying.
There was one that she just shared. This wasn't even her posting it. She shared, if you read right below it, she shared some controversial memes. I love how they use these language. Controversial memes. It depends who you ask.
Oh, this one's funny. I like this one.
Including one in which an old lady is speaking to a man about the bumper stickers on her car, noting that the little figures don't denote how many children she has, but rather how many rioters I've hit.
That's funny.
And for one, you have to assume it to be racist only if you're assuming that the rioters are black. So your assumption is actually more racist, because the rioters could have been Antifa, which mainly are white young idiots.
Yep.
That's the condescending bigotry that's out there, not the stuff she says. She, for one, didn't put black on this. She just said the rioters.
Right.
And because of this, she was kicked off the show. But not only that, her friends, quote friends on the show, basically threw her under the bus.
Yeah. This one said, a real quote here says, talking about Jenny Nguyen will no longer be a cast member of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. They went on to say, we recognize we failed to take appropriate action once her offensive social media posts were brought to our attention. I'm going to stop there for a second, because weren't they offensive in 2020? Or are they now offensive now that it's been brought to their attention?
Yeah.
They said, moving forward, we will work to improve our processes to ensure we make better informed and more thoughtful casting decisions. Now, when they say make more thoughtful casting decisions, what they mean is we will hire actors and actresses who are in line with our left woke thinking.
Exactly.
If someone like a Gina Carano or this Jenny Nguyen, if you have a conservative thought, if you believe in America and truth, or if you speak the truth boldly, they don't have room for you.
Yeah. And Goldie Hawn came out the other day, I read, where she says that basically actors and actresses should stop coming out with their political views because they're alienating half the country. Mm-hmm. Either side. She said, we're there to entertain. Why do we have to go out and talk about these controversial issues? She is married, or she's been dating for years and years and years.
Kurt Russell,
Wyatt Earp. And there's rumors that he doesn't lean left. Does he lean right? I don't know, but I think he's done a great job of staying non-political. Mm-hmm. So guess what? He can be hired by anybody, and he's not going to offend anybody. You saw this latest movie, Don't Look Up. Mm-hmm. Basically, it was supposed to be about a meteor, but everybody knows that it was about global warming or climate change. So right off the bat, they're preaching to you in a movie that should just be entertaining.
Yeah, exactly.
So Goldie Hawn said it good. We haven't heard much from her lately, but good for her.
And that was a statement by Bravo. And what happens in these cases, 9.9 times out of 10, is that once this stuff comes to light, that's when the actor or the actress gets together either with their agent or with some marketing company, and they issue an apology.
Yeah. And
they don't really mean it.
This is the biggest mistake. Whether they mean it or not, here's what she said. She said, this is from Jenny Nguyen, I want to acknowledge and apologize for my deleted Facebook posts from 2020 that have resurfaced today. At the time, I thought I was speaking out against violence, but I have since learned how offensive and hurtful my words were, she wrote. It's why I deactivated that account more than a year ago, and why I continue to try to learn about perspectives different from my own. I regret those posts, and I am sincerely sorry for the pain they caused. What pain? The only reason that you would be pain because of that is because you're taking stupid things personally. And we talk about this all the time. That doesn't cause anybody pain. If it causes them pain, that there's something wrong with them. And the fact that she apologized, she's not going to get her job back. So Jenny, you failed. You should you should not have apologized for this.
Yeah. And that's the little things that we keep talking about. For those of you who missed, one of the guys we like listening to is Matt Walsh. And he was recently on Dr. Phil with two transgender people.
He cancels people.
He cancels people all the time with the two transgender people. And every time one lady said to him, as she was talking about why it's okay to be transgender, she goes, I don't even know why it bothers you anyway. It shouldn't affect you. And the entire audience started clapping like, yeah. And Matt said, and I was so proud of him, he said, I stand for the truth. And there's nothing wrong for that, because every time we say yes to something that you guys want to push, whatever agenda you want to push, 4 or 5 years down the road, we're looking up and saying, how did we get here? Yeah. It's because we didn't say no and stand up for the truth 4 or 5 years previously.
Yeah. So Jenny Nguyen should have said, I don't believe anything that I said was offensive. All I said was my opinion. Everybody can have their own opinion. What they're forcing us to do is silence our opinions. And by her apologizing, it just feeds the narrative. It fans the flames of all this wokeness. And I was disappointed. We liked the quotes that she said. We didn't find them offensive at all. Of course, I had to ask Cedric because I shouldn't
the fact checker on the show.
I shouldn't have a say in that. But then I got pissed when I read the end of the article and she apologized. I'm like, why? It's not going to get you. You're not going to get hired now because you apologize, because that's not how the cancel culture works. Once it's out there, you can get on your knee, you can bow to them, you can kiss their feet. They're not giving you your job back. You're already done. Please, if there's anybody out there watching and somebody says you made something offensive and you don't believe it's offensive, don't apologize. Now, if you say something that you do, you look back and you go, yeah, that was dumb. Like maybe Morgan Wallen, when he used the N-word. Okay, you apologize, you were drunk and you did it. And then you move on. Of course, they wouldn't let him move on. They wouldn't even, he had like the #1 selling albums, but they wouldn't even let him attend the award ceremonies. But he apologized because he did say something that in today's society, you're not supposed to use that word. Of course, he wasn't saying it to a black man. He was saying it to one of his white friends. But be that as may, maybe that case, you apologize for saying the word. When you do something like this, though, and you say nothing that is wrong, you're stating facts. Why are you apologizing?
Yeah, I've had to practice this, like in the mirror, where I just say, you know what? I am sorry you're offended. I'm not apologizing for what I said, because I believe what I said, but whatever I said, I am sorry that it offended you.
And I like, going back to the Morgan Wallen really quick, is why he's a young guy, obviously much younger than us. I think he's the age of our kids. Mm-hmm. He grew up in a society where if you listen to popular, especially rap music, you hear that word all the time. Mm-hmm. So you're telling people, don't use this word, but you can listen to it all day long. Yep. So even that doesn't make sense. So
I love calling people my neighbor.
My neighbor.
My neighbor. All right. So yeah, Jenny Nguyen, we hope she finds employment elsewhere. Doesn't seem likely, because once you get canceled, it's hard to come back.
Hey, maybe the Daily Wire will pick her up.
I hope so.
But they should only pick her up if she wouldn't apologize, they would have picked her up, because I don't think Gina Carano really apologized. She basically said, like you said, I'm sorry I offended you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you were offended by my words.
Yes, but I believe in what I said.
All right, so what was that other story we were going to do?
Yes.
Thank you very much for this honor. James Rosen with Newsmax. I'd like to raise a delicate subject, but with utmost respect for your life accomplishments and the high office you hold. A poll released this morning by Politico Morning Consult found 49% of registered voters disagreeing with the statement, Joe Biden is mentally fit. Not even a majority of Democrats who responded strongly affirmed that statement.
Well, I'll let you all make the judgment whether they're correct.
Well, so the question I have for you, sir, if you'd let me finish, is why do you suppose such large segments of the American electorate have come to harbor such profound concerns about your cognitive fitness? Thank you.
I have no idea.
I love this reporter.
It's an honest question.
It took a...
But you see, he was from a right-leaning...
Right. Correct.
Which is fine. So at least Biden... And I want to point something out before we get into this. We're not going to play the whole thing from NBC or ABC, the whole press conference, because, oh God, it's torture. But at the whole beginning, he's got all his notes, and he would call on people by name.
Allison Harris, please.
So obviously he already had pre-set up questions by people. So he made the mistake of asking a couple people off the cuff, and he just pointed to him. So this gentleman was one of them. But just the look on his face, he's like, Biden's favorite thing is when he hears something that he doesn't like, he just has that stupid smile and laughs it off. You be the judge of that.
Could school reopenings or closures become a potent midterm issue for Republicans to win back the suburbs?
Oh, I think it could be, but I hope in God that look, maybe I'm kidding myself, but as time goes on, the voter who is just trying to figure out, as I said, how to take care of their family, put three squares on the table, stay safe, be able to pay their mortgage or their rent, etc., is becoming much more informed on the motives of some of the political players and some of the political parties. And I think that they are not going to be as susceptible to believing some of the outlandish things that have been said and continue to be said. Every president, not necessarily in the first 12 months, but every president the first couple of years, every president, of the last presidents, at least 4 of them, have had polling numbers that are 44% favorable. So it's this idea that, but not you all, but now it is, Biden's at, one poll showed him at 33%. The average is 44, 45%. One poll him at 49%. I mean, the idea that the American public are trying to sift their way through what's real and what's fake. And I don't think I've never seen a time when the political coverage,
He might have just answered the first question.
Right? It's like answering the question without really answering it.
Was that hard for you to watch? That was
That
was hard to watch. I was sitting there, and I was watching it on my phone, and I wanted to shake the phone.
Right.
Because he starts answering. You can see his brain stop. Something happens. And then he answers a different question that's in his head. And then he goes to a third question. And then I forgot what the original question was by that gentleman.
Exactly. He gets upset when you ask him questions completely separate from what he's there for.
Yeah, well, because he's not prepared.
If he's here to talk about Russia, which you won't, Russia and Ukraine, that's the only thing you can ask him. And if you ask him something off the cuff about inflation, which so he doesn't have time to prepare for, then he gets upset. And I'm thinking, as the leader of our country, people should be able to fire. That was, going back to Trump, that was Trump's biggest thing. He never looked at the teleprompter, and he was at his best when he was freestyling. Oh, yeah. And he would jump from subject to subject like it was nobody's business.
Because he knew that 9 out of 10 reporters, probably 99 out of 100 reporters, were going to try to get it. It was always gotcha. He was trying to get him.
Trying to get got.
Whereas Biden, 99 out of 100, they're pre-prepared. They're pro-Biden anyways, so he's not going to get any tough questions. So Peter Doocy, who's from Fox News, is the only one who tries to ask him. And then that gentleman from Newsmax obviously asked him a really tough question.
And this is sad. I mean, and Brian said, I just want to echo that it's hard to watch your leader do that because it affects a lot of people. It affects us because you look at your leader, you want your leader to be hard-nosed, hard-hitting, and not passive. It affects our allies because they want the same thing. But on the opposite scale, our enemies are looking at things and they're salivating.
Why do you think Russia's at the border of Ukraine now and they weren't when Trump was there?
Well, we want to share those two stories with you guys really quick. We haven't brought this up in a while, but hopefully a lot of you guys are catching us on CTA now and Roku. We haven't been promoting that as much. It's a new station. It's building. It's growing.
Stands for Conservative Television of America. Find it on your Fire Stick and Roku.
Yes.
Or stream it online. You can go to their website, CTVA.
.tv. You're right.
Look it up.
.tv.
Conservative Television of America.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that.
Hold on, before we go, you guys might have noticed I got the black mug back here again. The main thing, don't buy the black mugs. I found if you have white cabinets, something about the material on this gets on your hands, and then it's like blue, and it puts blue stains on your cabinets, and they do not come out.
You being serious?
I'm being serious. So that's why I had to take this out of the kitchen, because my wife said, if you don't get that mug out of the kitchen, because I marked up the... So buy these.
Buy the white ones.
So this will be for our prop here.
Do not buy the black ones. What Brian is saying, buy the white ones.
Buy the white ones.
The white ones are better.
That's not what I'm saying, sir.
That's what I heard.
Nothing to do with...
That's what I heard.
God, he's so sensitive. So this is... I'm probably going to have to apologize later, which I'm not, because I said nothing wrong.
All mugs matter. All right, you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
And hats.
Yes.
Cedric never wears his hat because he doesn't want to promote them, but I will promote the hat.
I should have worn it. Didn't have time to...
And if you're...
Gonna feel a little Afro-esque
If you're
today.
really cool like me, you can put it on backwards.
Okay.
Only if you're really cool.
Yes. Well, we'll find something to do next week. I'm going to be in Orlando, Florida for a few days. Since this guy's always dashing off to Tennessee, and I think it's time for me to take a little hiatus, a little break.
And our as of this, you watching this today, our land closed. I am now a proud landowner in Smithville, Tennessee.
Yes, that means I finally get my reparations. I want my land back. I want my 40 acres and the mule back. We'll talk about that later.
Wow.
All right. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, ring that bell, and please continue sharing our channel with everyone you know, because we've received lots of comments from people saying, hey, I thought I was subscribed, and I've had to subscribe again for the third or fourth time, or YouTube kicked me off. Keep subscribing. We're going to hold fast sooner or later.
Yep.
Continue being good to each other. Speak the truth in love. Until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. We'll see you.